about your companies, let's talk about the divestments and the corporate landscape change in Nigeria. I'll come to Lare from Aradel. So 4 out of the 5 announced deals in Upstream Nigeria have received government approval. Owando has gone on to complete its transaction acquisition of the Nawok business entity, and Chapal and Seplat have approval and they're finalizing their transactions. What do all of these divestments really mean for the Nigerian space, and how can indigenous companies really position themselves to grow production?
Okay, thank you very much. I think the divestment story for Nigeria is an interesting one. And it just shows the maturity of the Nigerian oil and gas space. I mean, roll back 30 years, we had only the IOCs, controlling the entire acreage for Nigeria. As we speak today, as you've mentioned, we have several independents already operating fields responsibly with technical excellence, growing production. And really, when we look at the Nigerian environment, as we very well know, the international oil companies are set up to address challenges in technology, complex, production, and also where you need a lot of financing to be able to get the molecules to the surface. And so what we see happening in Nigeria is a gradual move of the international oil companies from onshore and focusing on the deep water. And so the point there is that as a country in Nigeria, we're blessed with solid technical professionals, which you see across the various independents in the country. A key benefit of having the IOCs for the 50, 60, 70 years is that over time, they've been able to develop, and thanks to the IOCs, they've been able to develop a large crop of seasoned oil and gas professionals in the country. And so the divestment then brings the opportunity to step into the shoes of the IOCs onshore and shallow water. Now, stepping into the shoes of the IOCs, it's not going to be an easy thing. It's not, it's a bit complex. But the beauty of the divestment, because it's onshore, the basic infrastructure is already there, even though it's challenged in a way. But as indigenous players, it gives us the opportunity to demonstrate our local know-how, ability to interface with the communities, and play to the strengths we have in terms of the terrain. And let me give an example. For us in Aradel, where we operate from happens to be next to a river called the Sombrero River. In 2022, we had the problem where the pipeline going to the main export terminal, Boni Terminal, we were losing crude up to the level of 97%. So you pump in 100 barrels, all that gets registered in the terminal was just 3 barrels. And that was not sustainable. So being an independent on the basis of resilience, we had to find a way. How do we get to the market? So we had to play to our strengths of, yes, we have a river next to us. Why can't we move the crude on the waterways? And that's where the support of government becomes very important. So the support of government in helping, giving all the approvals for us to be able to achieve that. We were able to get that done in 6 months with all the contracting that was required to achieve that. It will interest you to know that we have our own pipeline, which we have run for more than 20 years, and we've never had a single community disturbance on that line. Whereas the main truck line was constantly being ravaged by, sabotage on the lines. And what's the difference for me? The difference is that for us as independents, we understand we're able to interface with the communities better. For us in Aradel, right from the word go, we had what we called an host community trust fund, as way back as 2000, year 2000. That host community trust fund concept is what has now been enshrined in the PI. So for the independents, it's a great opportunity. The divestment is a great opportunity, but it then requires us to demonstrate the discipline of what project delivery, the discipline of governance, and doing things sustainably. So it cannot be that the divestments happen and the independents come in, and then you have a lot of environmental pollution, things are not done sustainably. That cannot be the case. Our story has been completely different in the sense that we have operated sustainably for the last 30 years. We have an excellent relationship with our host communities. In terms of project delivery, like I've mentioned, we have been able to have a flow station that does 20,000 barrels, a gas plant that does 100 million scf, producing both to the NLNG at top technical availability levels. Last thing is that when we look at the energy transition for Nigeria, and we talk about renewables, I think in my view that the independents have a unique opportunity to ride on the back of the divestments to now create the avenue to be able to grow renewables in the country. And I'll give the example. What we did as Aradel, on the back of the successes we have achieved in oil and gas, we partnered with a renewables company and we were able to deliver electricity to 4 communities that have never, ever had electricity before in Nigeria, southwest Nigeria. Riding on the back of the project management experience we have, the governance that we have in place in being able to govern projects, that was how we were able to succeed in that renewables business. And also we were able to bring in capital to start that project. So I think it's a beautiful story for the independents. Thank you.